It's Jade. So first of all, I wanted to start off with a pack check and a light check. So for my light check, I'm feeling really good today. I'm feeling very peaceful, very centered. I was traveling for like the last week, so it's nice to just be back on the East Coast, doing my thing. I'm getting back into it. And then for my pack check, which I'm like way more excited about than my light check, I'm definitely packing complexity. I have a tendency to see things in black and white, and just really over the past week, people have just been surprising me both in good and bad ways. So I really want to stress packing complexity and packing understanding. I'm also very much so seeking to understand rather than to be understood. And if I'm at the point where I'm not trying to understand, then I'm just going to walk away and mind my business. So definitely, I'm really just trying to deal with the gray. I think for me, a lot of times everything becomes a crisis, or like this person did this to me. Or one week, somebody seems like a quote-unquote good person. Next week, they seem like a quote-unquote bad person. Or one week, my life seems like it's going great. And the next week, my life seems like it's a disaster. So definitely working with the gray area and just knowing that that's what life is about. And then finally, to continue our series on toxic relationships, I just wanted to touch a little bit on familial relationships. I think that that's a more unpopular one. It's definitely one that I can relate to personally. So with familial relationships, I think a lot of times with my toxic familial relationships, I've struggled with kind of like a why me, or I've really struggled with kind of what is fair, and thinking about like, this is so unfair. Why is this my life? This is not. And what I've realized that's really been bringing me a lot of peace, actually since the last vlog, which kind of illuminated some things for me, was that something can be unfair, but it can also still be your life. So just because it's unfair. So just because something's unfair, or these relationships are unfair, these people are treating you unfairly, it doesn't negate its existence in your life. And I think a lot of times I got very caught up in like, oh, like this sucks, this doesn't feel good, this doesn't look like the familiar relationship that I see all my other friends in. And what's brought me the most peace is accepting that this is my life, and I don't have the best family life, but that's okay, and taking the steps to work towards a better family life. A better family life. And once you finally kind of let go of that need to, not that it isn't unfair, but once you let go of the ego that can be rooted in harping on why something's unfair, I think it helps you accept it more in your life, and it helps you move on. And I think that for me, accepting that I have these shitty familiar situations, that is a part of my life, it's helping me feel a lot better, which is why I'm also going to one of my first therapy sessions this evening. I'm super excited. So I hope that could shed a little bit of light on other people who are dealing with toxic familiar. I also wanted to add that, I definitely think you should give some time and thought and allow yourself to feel that unfairness. But I think where you get fucked up is when you start blaming people and start focusing on, oh, well, my so-and-so did this to me, that's why I'm this way. Blame, although it feels good in the moment, it just deflects the pain. It doesn't really solve it. It doesn't deal with it. So you're allowed to feel that unfairness, but just know that that's step one. And step two is accepting that it's in your life and working to heal yourself. So yeah, I hope people can.
Hello, Packlight. How are you guys doing today? I'm really excited to talk to you guys and continue our series on toxic relationships and different areas about toxic relationships. But first, I want to start off by doing like a light check. And today I was not feeling that good as the day started, but as the day went on and I got to see some of my friends, they cheered me up a little bit and made me feel better. I got some food in my system, so I'm not grumpy. So now that I have food in my belly, I'm more than excited to talk to you guys about a part of toxic relationships that I don't think gets a lot of coverage either, and it's called investment fallacy, and I'm going to talk about what that means and how it affects. So here's an example. So you go to the movies and you pay like $15 for this movie, and the movie really sucks halfway through. You realize that like, oh, I wasted my money. And you say, oh, I'm going to sit through the rest of this movie. I'm not going to leave it. That's just a simple example of investment fallacy. It's like you've invested time and energy into a situation and you value the outcome of the future rather than what is happening in the present situation. I feel like people get wrapped up in the emotional investment of the relationships instead of looking at it at face value and rationally thinking about what value the relationship holds in the present. What people fail to realize is that moving forward sometimes and not taking value, you're just investing more to lose more instead of cutting your losses and being able to move through the situation and pass. So I guess in conclusion, it's all about whether you're basing your decisions in fear of loss or in, I guess I would say, like investment towards a better future for yourselves. So you should so I think that we should all take time and inventory our relationships and realize what is a greater loss. I guess love for self or love for, I guess, just not being in change. That's all for me, guys. Peace and chicken grease and much love to you. And I'll check in next week. Happy pack lighting.
Hi, Backlighters. Happy Tuesday. I'm very happy to be talking to you guys today. I had a really beautiful weekend. I guess for my light check, it'd be doing well. At some point in this weekend, I definitely got to that mental point where I'm kind of like in my head and like thinking about a lot of things and just like letting it overcome me. And then fortunately, my friend invited me out to this Dance Africa Fest, and it was amazing. Which brings me to today's pack check for me. There's this beautiful African proverb I see floating around the web, like, if you want to travel fast, go alone. If you want to travel far, like, go together. And community, like, I'm packing community. And our intent through Packlight is to create a community of Black women and allies as well that are here for the cause of loving on one another and spreading light and love. So to continue in our theme in toxic relationships, I'm going to be talking about them in the form of a platonic relationship. I think we're not necessarily taught the importance of friendships, how they affect us, how they develop our psyche even as children. First and foremost, the key to any healthy relationship is going to be one with yourself. So a lot of times if you are in a relationship that is toxic and platonic, it might be the fact that you're not treating yourself the best. Friendships are indeed intimate relationships. Some people's friendships are more intense than any romantic relationship that they'll ever have, or familial. So I think it's really important to realize where you're placing your energy and how that's impacting you. So a healthy relationship should have a balance of give and take, all of them. But your friend should be able to kind of tell you when things are going right, when things are going wrong, kind of speak life into you. You can support one another. But if you notice that the friendship is kind of turning like one-sided, where you're giving all the support or you're taking the arguments or things of that nature, you might want to think about how things are being played out. How are you feeling around this person energetically? Are you anxious to hang out with this friend? Are you happy when you hang out with this friend? You know, we definitely need to spend time with ourselves to kind of reflect on our interactions with other people, because that's really important. But if you realize this friend is very demanding, if you realize the relationship is very taxing, they're always calling you and giving their problems to you and you're helping them and it's not necessarily the other way around, you know, you really need to sit and consider and be like, okay, what can I say to this person? I think for me, a really large portion of my problems in toxic relationships has been not being vocal about how I feel. And very early on, I'm very intuitive. I might feel that something's off, or I might be offended by something and not handling it. And when you don't handle things and you let them fester, it's like every little problem becomes compounded into these really big problems. So if you realize that you're not feeling that great, you know, bring this up to your friend and say, you know, sometimes I feel like you be on my line too much. I'm always listening to you, but it's not give and take. And I think when you can kind of start being vocal about these, hopefully you can bring the friendship to a point of, okay, this has been like this, so maybe we can like change it and maybe we can go another direction. But in some cases, you know, it's not delivered well, it's not received well, and they might think you're tripping or whatever. And then these are the people that you might want to cut off, because as soon as you let go of some people, you make space for a better, more loving individuals to come into your life and kind of speak life into you. Like ultimately, all of our relationships should be, making us better. Like iron sharpens iron. So if you realize like, okay, this isn't really necessarily doing it for me, definitely take the time so you can analyze the situation. Anyway, y'all, that's like my 2 cents on kind of how you can kind of grow from it, taking next steps, what you're going to do within the relationship. I hope you have a lovely week. Bye.